The human soldier stepped off his small transport onto the soft lavender dunes of Alara. The sky above glowed pale pink as two moons drifted slowly into view. He paused and drew a steady breath, feeling the cool breeze carry distant laughter. Around him, tall crystal pillars caught the light and scattered it like gentle rain. He wore simple earth-green armor and carried only his rifle and a small pack. He looked calm and respectful. A hush fell over the nearby crowd as dozens of alien beauties drifted forward. They moved with graceful steps, their lithe figures framed by flowing silks and pastel shades. Each had skin the color of moonlight or pale rose, and their eyes shone with curiosity. They whispered among themselves, their soft voices like music on the wind. None had ever seen a human soldier before, and their gentle gazes held both wonder and admiration. He raised a hand in greeting, fingers relaxed and palm open. The beauties paused, their heads tilting as they studied him. He spoke in the common tongue, his voice low but clear. "I come in peace," he said. "I seek only to learn and to share goodwill." His words carried sincerity, and the aliens noted the calm confidence in his tone. He took a step forward, careful not to move too quickly. A tall beauty with silver-blue skin stepped ahead of the others. She held a delicate flower with petals that twinkled like stars. She offered it to him with a shy smile. He accepted it gently, cradling it in his palm. "Thank you," he said. The beauty's heart fluttered at the sound of his voice. She felt warmth spread through her, and she glanced back at her companions. They all watched with bright eyes. He looked around and saw a wide crystal plaza beyond the dunes. He walked slowly toward it, the flower still resting against his chest. The beauties followed in a loose circle, their eyes fixed on him. They did not speak aloud, but their presence spoke volumes. They moved with silent grace, stepping in rhythm with unseen music. He felt both honored and uneasy under so many gentle stares. As he reached the plaza, he paused near a fountain of rising mist that glowed with soft blue light, knelt, and placed the flower at its edge. The mist swirled around it, lifting a single petal into the air before letting it drift back down. He watched in quiet awe. The beauties gathered closer, admiring how he showed respect for their customs. He bowed his head, and they bowed theirs in return. One beauty with pale lavender hair approached and spoke in a gentle voice. "Soldier of Earth," she said, "we wish to know your story. Tell us why you came so far." He closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them, meeting her gaze. "I came to learn," he replied. "I have heard of your planet's beauty and your people's art. I wish to build friendship and to stand together if danger comes." His words were simple, but they carried hope. The beauties spoke among themselves in low tones, their voices like the soft chime of crystal. They nodded and smiled, pleased by his sincerity. The lavender-haired beauty returned to the group, sharing his words. The others leaned in, their soft features glowing. They seemed to glow even more as they realized this soldier meant no harm. The day's light began to fade as Alara's moons rose higher. The soldier and the beauties moved to a circle of white stones at the plaza's center. They sat or knelt on the stones and listened. He told them stories of Earth's green forests, its great seas, and its many people. He spoke of courage, of working together, and of the hope that friendship brings. The beauties listened, their eyes wide, their faces soft with wonder. When he finished, a breeze carried the scent of night blossoms. The lavender-haired beauty spoke again. "We welcome you, soldier," she said. "Tonight we share our ceremony beneath the moons. You will see our dances and songs. You will feel our hearts." He rose and bowed once more. "I am honored," he said. They stood and formed a circle around him. The soft moonlight bathed them in silver glow. The Beauty Council stood at the edge, observing with calm approval. The soldier felt a gentle excitement as he took his place among the alien beauties. He felt safe, yet thrilled by what might come. As the first melody rose from crystal instruments, he watched the dancers step forward. Their silken skirts swirled like living rainbows. Each dancer's face was serene and focused. He felt their eyes upon him, and he met each gaze with respect. The music filled the air, and the ceremony began. In that moment, The human soldier understood that Alara would remember him for many years to come. The alien beauties could not stop themselves from looking at him, not out of fear or mockery, but out of genuine wonder. And he stood among them, ready to learn their ways and to show them the honor of his own. The night stretched on, and their shared story began. The morning light touched the crystal plaza like a gentle sigh. Word had spread through Alara's glowing corridors that the human soldier was more than a guest, he was a hero from Earth. By dawn, dozens of alien beauties had gathered among the tall crystal pillars, their pastel silks rustling softly. They came with hopes and questions, their eyes shining with curiosity and admiration. They moved in loose groups, drifting closer to the center of the plaza, where a low dais of white stone waited. Each beauty carried a small token, a woven bracelet of moonlight threads, a crystal petal caught at dawn, or a tiny carving of an Alara songbird. They whispered to one another, sharing thoughts like secret petals on the breeze. He stood at the edge of the dais, calm and still. His simple green armor gleamed faintly under Alara's twin suns. He held his rifle at his side, but never in a way that alarmed. Instead, he let his body relax, his gaze soft, so that every beauty could see he meant no harm. The lavender-haired envoy stepped forward first. She reached into a small pouch and pulled out a bracelet woven from silvery threads. She held it with both hands and offered it with a shy dip of her head. He accepted it gently, sliding it over his wrist. The bracelet glowed softly. The envoy's cheeks warmed with pride. Another beauty approached with a carved songbird made of pale moonstone. Its wings were delicate and real enough to catch the wind. She placed it carefully on the dais before him. He knelt to inspect it, tracing the tiny wings with his finger. "It is beautiful," he said, his voice quiet but clear. The beauty beamed at his simple words. As each token found its place, the beauties formed a circle around him. They did not crowd, but they did not leave either. They stood close enough that he could feel their gentle breaths. He felt honored and slightly bashful under so much gentle attention. A soft murmur rose among them, and the lavender-haired envoy raised a hand. The crowd hushed instantly. She spoke in the common tongue. "Soldier of Earth, we honor your strength, your courage, and your respect. Share with us your story so we may know why you crossed the silent stars." He straightened and looked at each face in turn. He spoke simply. "I was sent to learn your ways," he said. "I have fought wars on many worlds. I have seen sorrow and loss. I seek peace and friendship now. I carry stories of Earth's forests, its seas, and its people. I hope our worlds can grow together." They listened with wide eyes. Some clutched their tokens close, as if the gifts gave them courage. A soft breeze carried the scent of night blossoms from nearby gardens. The soldier's words seemed to bloom in the air, filling the plaza with a quiet hope. A tall beauty with pale rose skin stepped forward next. "Tell us of your wars," she said. "We wish to know how you found honor, even in battle." He nodded solemnly. He thought of distant planets, of smoky skies and broken cities, but he chose light. "On Earth," he said, "we learn that strength without mercy is empty. We fight to protect our homes, never to conquer. When the last shot is fired, we carry our scars and our memories. We honor those who fell and show kindness to those who remain. This is the way we find peace after war." The beauties closed their eyes at his words. They bowed their heads in respect. They'd never known war like his, but they felt its weight in his gentle voice. The lavender-haired envoy stepped to his side. She placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture of deep trust. Then music rose from the edges of the plaza. Crystal-mined flutes and stone drums spoke in soft tones. The beauties began to dance, their silks flowing like water over hidden rocks. He watched in wonder as each movement told a story of ancient rivers, of starry nights, and of hearts joined in song. After a while, one dancer drifted toward him and offered her hand. He stood and took it, stepping onto the dais beside her. She guided him through a simple step, sliding his foot beside hers. He did not move perfectly, but he moved with respect. The other beauties clapped softly at his effort, their smiles warm. When the dance ended, the lavender-haired envoy spoke again. "You have shown us respect, and we have shown you our hearts. This day we declare you a friend of Alara. A gentle cheer rose among the beauties, like birds taking flight together as the sun set. The Grand Council Elder appeared at the plaza's edge. Her skin was the color of dawn clouds, and her eyes held ancient wisdom. She nodded to the soldier and to the envoy. No words were needed. Her gesture spoke of welcome and trust. The soldier bowed deeply, his heart full. He gathered the moonstone. Songbird and the woven tokens, treasures he would keep close. The beauties began to disperse, their silks whispering goodbye, yet their eyes lingered on him, full of promise. He stepped down from the dais and walked beside the lavender-haired envoy. They passed under glowing arches that lit their path in soft pink light. He told her more of the oceans on Earth, of waves that crashed like thunder. And she told him of sky rivers on Alara that shone with rainbow light. They paused at his camp beyond the plaza, where his small transport waited. He turned to look at the towers of crystal behind him. He felt that Alara had become a new home in his mind, a place where hearts could join across the silent void. "Thank you," he whispered. The envoy smiled and touched his arm. "We thank you," she replied. "Tonight our people will speak of this day for generations." He nodded and unstrapped his pack. Inside lay gifts of earth, a small flag, a map drawn by children, and a recorded song of wind through trees. He offered these to her, the beginnings of a new story. She accepted with bright eyes and placed them in a satchel at her side. They stood together under the twin moons, two worlds meeting at the edge of the plaza. The alien beauties had come to look at the human soldier, but they had found much more: a friend, a teacher, and a promise of unity. And the human soldier had found a people willing to listen, to share, and to open their hearts without fear. The night air carried their new story across Alara, a story of respect and hope. And dawning next, the plaza would hold new laughter, new dances, and new steps toward a shared destiny. The second chapter of their journey had begun, and both worlds would never be the same. The dawn's sun painted the crystal towers of Alara in soft gold as the human soldier rose beside the lavender-haired envoy. She led him through narrow glass corridors that curved like rivers overhead. The walls glowed with carved symbols that told ancient stories. He listened quietly, eager to learn. They entered the hanging gardens, where vines of silver leaves trailed down from floating platforms. Ooh. Tiny lights flickered among the branches like fireflies. The envoy smiled and pointed to a flower that opened only in morning light. Its petals were pale sapphire and smelled of rain. He knelt to examine it, careful not to touch its fragile edges. She watched his gentle care and felt a flutter in her heart. As they walked, other alien beauties joined them. One carried a small basket of glowing fruit. She offered him a piece, its skin soft as silk, and its taste sweet like honey. He bit gently and nodded his thanks. The beauties laughed softly, delighted by his pleasure. He felt at ease among them, part of their world. The envoy guided him to a crystal bridge that arched over a lagoon of clear water. Fish with rainbow fins darted beneath the surface. He watched them swim in patterns like living art. She dipped her hand into the water and let droplets fall back, creating ripples that caught the sun. He imitated her, and they shared a quiet moment of simple joy. Suddenly, a distant roar shook the gardens. The fish scattered, and ripples spread across the lagoon. The beauties froze, eyes wide with alarm. The envoy's face grew pale. "Storm beasts," she whispered. "They come when our balance breaks." He stood and reached for his rifle, but she placed a hand on his arm. "Not weapons," she said. "We must calm them with song." The beauties formed a circle and began to hum a low melody. Their voices rose in harmony, notes blending like threads of light. The soldier joined, matching their tone with steady breath. The roar grew louder as creatures with horned heads and heavy paws crashed through the garden gates. Vines shook and flowers fell. The beauties did not flee. They held the song, their voices steady and soft. The soldier kept their rhythm, his clear voice adding strength. The storm beasts paused at the circle's edge, confusion in their wild eyes. The melody wrapped around them like warmth. They lowered their heads and stepped back. The envoy continued the song until the beasts turned and fled into the distant hills. When silence returned, the beauties wept with relief. They gathered around, the soldier and the envoy, voices trembling. Out. He knelt and placed a hand gently on the envoy's shoulder. She leaned into him, safe at last. They spent the rest of the morning replanting torn vines and gathering fallen flowers. He worked side by side with them, his strong arms lifting heavy branches with care. They smiled and praised his kindness, liked how their eyes shone with gratitude. As the sun climbed high, the envoy led him back to the plaza. She touched his arm and said softly, "You saved our garden and our hearts." He bowed his head and replied, "Your song saved them first. I only stood with you." They looked at each other and knew their bond had deepened. The alien beauties could not stop themselves looking at the human soldier now, not only with wonder, but with true respect and friendship. And together, they would face whatever came next. The next morning, the soldier followed the lavender-haired envoy to the grand hall at the heart of Alara's capital. The hall's walls gleamed like polished crystal, and soft light filtered through colored panes. Exotic plants in silver pots lined the wide corridor. Beauties drifted past in flowing silks, their eyes bright with excitement. Word had spread of a challenge to test the human strength. Whispers filled the air like music. They entered the hall where a raised platform of white stone stood in the center. Around it, pillars carved with ancient symbols reached toward the domed ceiling. At the edge of the platform, a circle of large stones waited. Each stone was smooth and heavy, shaped like an egg. The soldier paused and ran a hand over one stone's cool surface. He felt its weight even before lifting. The beauties formed a ring around the platform, their soft gazes fixed on him. From the circle of watchers, a tall beauty stepped forward. Her skin was pale, rose, and her silks rippled like gentle waves. She carried a single stone in her arms. Her name was unspoken, but all knew her as the noble of strength. She spoke in a clear voice that echoed in the hall. "Human soldier," she said, "to honor our customs, you must show your worth. You will lift these stones, one by one, until you cannot go on." Her tone was polite but firm. He bowed his head in respect. "I accept," he said softly. He set his pack aside and rolled up his sleeves. The beauties murmured their approval. The lavender-haired envoy stepped to his side and offered a nod of encouragement. He felt a steady calm inside him. He had trained for many trials in Earth's armies, but this felt different. Here, strength was matched with grace. He would not fail. The noble placed the first stone at the soldier's feet. It weighed as much as a small crate. He stepped forward, bent his knees, and gripped the stone with both hands. He lifted it smoothly, holding it against his chest. He straightened and set it down on a marked spot. The beauties clapped softly, their applause like raindrops. He exhaled and nodded. The noble smiled politely and placed the next stone. This stone was larger. He felt its weight tug at his arms. He knelt again, careful to keep his back straight. When he arose, a soft ache pulsed in his shoulders, yet he held the stone high. The beauties watched in silent wonder. He set the stone down with care, as if laying a fragile gift. The crowd's hush spoke of respect. He met the noble's eyes and gave a small bow. The third stone was heavy, meant only for the strongest of Alara's warriors. He paused and felt every heartbeat in his chest. He looked at the lavender-haired envoy. Her eyes shone with faith. He took a deep breath, centered himself, and gripped the stone's smooth surface. He lifted with a controlled effort his arms. Trembling, the beauties gasped as he raised the stone overhead for a single breath. Then he lowered it gently, as though it weighed nothing at all. A soft cheer rose among the beauties. The noble swept the final stone onto the platform. It was the largest of all, shaped like a heart of crystal. He placed his hands beneath it and lifted. His legs shook, his arms strained, but he rose. He held the stone high, his gaze steady. Sweat beaded on his brow, but his face showed only calm resolve. The beauty's eyes glowed with admiration. Then, with a single, careful motion, he set the stone down. It landed softly on the marked spot without a crack or a clatter. The hall fell silent for a heartbeat, then erupted in praise. The beauties clapped and cheered, their voices rising in joyful chorus. Petals of moonflower drifted from overhead baskets, falling like snow around him. He lowered his head in humble thanks. The noble beauty crossed the platform and offered him her hand. "You have shown true strength and respect," she said, her voice warm. "You honor us with your power and your care." He took her hand and bowed once more. "I honor Alara," he replied. "Your people have shown me great kindness. I only wish to serve in turn." The lavender-haired envoy joined them at the platform's edge. She placed a gentle hand on the soldier's shoulder. "Today, you prove that strength and mercy can blend in one heart," she said. "You stand among us not as a stranger, but as a friend." The beauties around them nodded, their smiles bright. The soldier felt a deep joy bloom inside him. As the crowd began to disperse, the noble beauty guided him toward a long table set with cups of sweet nectar and platters of soft fruit. "Join us for a feast," she invited. "We will celebrate your victory and our new bond." He shook his head, smiling. "I would be honored," he said. They walked together under arches of crystal vines that glowed in soft morning light. The soldier carried no weapons now, only the memory of stones lifted and hearts touched. The beauties followed, their silks. Brushing the polished floor, he heard their whispers of praise and felt their pride. He knew that this day would mark another chapter in their shared story, seated at the table. The soldier drank the cool nectar and tasted fruit he had never known. He spoke of Earth's simple meals and the joy of breaking bread together. The beauties listened, their laughter gentle. They passed cups and dishes, each offering a gift of taste and color. He felt full in body and spirit when the feast ended. They rose and walked into the afternoon sun. The soldier looked at the city's towers, bright as stars. He knew that soon he would face new challenges, but today he stood honored among alien beauties. They could not stop themselves looking at him, not out of wonder alone, but out of deep respect for his strength and his gentle heart. And he walked beside them, ready for whatever came next. The sun dipped low behind the crystal towers as the feast on Alara's grand plaza began. Long tables of polished stone held platters of sweet fruits, spiced root loaves, and petals of moonflower that glowed faintly in the dusk. Lanterns carved from crystal floated above, casting gentle patterns on the silken gowns of the alien beauties. Their laughter rose like music against the twin moons. The human soldier stood at the table's end, his simple green tunic a quiet contrast to their bright silks. He watched with calm delight as they shared stories and food. The lavender-haired envoy sat beside him, her silvery blue silks catching the lantern light. She offered him a slice of golden fruit, its taste soft and sweet. He accepted with a nod, careful to show respect. Round them, beauties passed platters and cups, each offering a gift of their culture. He spoke of Earth's simple meals breads, dipped in oil, berries eaten by firelight, and they listened with bright eyes. The envoy's smile warmed him, and he saw in her gaze the deep bond they had forged. As the feast carried on, a hush drifted through the crowd. A few beauties leaned close and whispered in urgent tones. The soldier heard the word traitor spoken once, soft but sharp. He looked up and saw a tall figure slipping between the tables, head lowered. The Beauty Council's guards stood near the edges, but their attention was on the ceremony, not on every movement. A maid of the palace stumbled past the soldier, her hand pressed to her mouth, her eyes were wide with fear. She carried a cup of spiced wine, but its surface trembled, and a dark fleck drifted at the edge. The soldier caught her arm gently and guided her to his side. The maid's breath came quick and low. She whispered one word, "Poison." He stood swiftly, voice clear yet calm. "Clear this area," he called in the common tongue. His words carried authority born of battle, and the beauties froze as he set down his cup. He scanned the crowd, instincts honed from wars on distant worlds. His gaze settled on a cloaked figure moving toward the envoy with a slender blade hidden in one hand. Without hesitation, he stepped forward and placed himself between the attacker and the envoy. The cloaked figure lunged. Soldier braced, grabbing the intruder's wrist and twisting. Metal clanged as the hidden blade fell from a gloved hand. With a firm strike of his rifle butt, he knocked the assailant off balance and to the ground. A sharp cry rose from the watchers as guards rushed forward to seize the attacker. In the scuffle, a palace beauty stumbled and fell, her ankle twisted beneath her. She cried out as she hit the stone floor. The soldier dropped to one knee beside her, checking her ankle with gentle hands. He spoke softly. "Stay still. I will help you." He removed a small med kit from his pack, the first aid light attached to his belt, and cleaned a scrape on her wrist. The maid who had warned him knelt too, offering cool water. The lavender-haired envoy hurried over, concern in her bright eyes. She knelt on the other side of the injured beauty. "Thank you," the envoy whispered to the soldier. "You saved her life." The soldier shook his head. "I only did what I would do for any friend," he said. The injured beauty managed a shaky smile as he wrapped her ankle in a soft bandage from his kit. The council elder rose from her seat at the head table. Her voice was calm but carried across the plaza. "Let all fear fade," she said. "Our guest has protected us, and our people remain safe." She raised a hand and guards led the bound attacker away. The crowd exhaled as one, relief washing over them. Petals of moonflower drifted down like confetti as the elder signaled the feast to continue. The soldier stood and offered the injured beauty his arm. She accepted with trust, and he guided her to a low bench at the feast's edge. Beauties pressed forward to offer slices of cooling fruit and cups of floral tea. He helped her sip tea and taste soft melon slices, speaking words of comfort. She relaxed at once, her fear melting into relief. The envoy rose and addressed the crowd. "Today our unity was tested, and our friend from Earth stood strong. He showed us that courage and kindness walk hand in hand." A cheer rose, gentle at first, then stronger. The beauties clapped and stepped forward to pat the soldier's shoulder and exchange flowers. They pressed woven bracelets into his hand as tokens of thanks. Later, as the lanterns dimmed and the feast tables were cleared, the soldier and the envoy walked together in the silent plaza. Scattered petals lay like stars at their feet. He carried no weapons now, only the tokens of friendship. She touched his arm and said, "You have our deepest thanks. Lara will never forget your name." He smiled, looking up at the crystal towers glowing in the moonlight. "I only did what any friend would do," he replied. "Your people welcomed me, and I will always stand by Alara." They paused under an arch of woven silver vines, reached into her satchel, and placed a single moonflower in his hand. "This is for you," she said, "a symbol of hope and new beginnings." As they parted, the human soldier felt a warmth in his heart. The alien beauties had not only looked at him in wonder, they had come to trust him with their lives. In that trust, he found a purpose deeper than any mission, to stand as a bridge between two worlds, honoring both their strengths and their kindness. The seeds of unity were sown, and Alara's future shone brighter than ever. The morning after the feast, the soldier stood at the edge of Alara's great plaza, his eyes scanning the distant horizon. The twin moons of the planet hung low in the sky, their soft glow painting the landscape in shades of silver. It had been a night of celebration and victory, but there was still much to be done. The soldier knew that the peace between his people and the beauties of Alara was fragile, and it would take more than just one act of bravery to maintain it. Envoy approached him, her steps light and graceful. She wore a simple dress of pale green silk, her hair flowing freely. Her eyes were bright with the same trust she had shown him since their first meeting. "We are ready for the next part of the ceremony," she said softly, offering him a warm smile. He nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. He had come to Alara with a simple wish: to learn, to share, and to protect. Yet every day here felt like a new chapter in a story he hadn't expected. He had not anticipated the friendships that had blossomed or the dangers that had tested him. But now, as the envoy led him toward the central gathering place, he felt a sense of purpose stronger than ever. The council had invited him to witness their most sacred tradition, the joining of hearts. The ceremony was not one of marriage, but a symbol of unity and trust between two cultures. It was a moment when the soldiers of Earth and the beauties of Alara would stand together, showing their commitment to a future without war. The plaza was bustling with preparations. The air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers, and small groups of beauties practiced their songs, their voices rising in harmony. The soldier took his place in the center of the gathering, surrounded by the soft glow of crystal lanterns. The lavender-haired envoy stood beside him, her gaze focused ahead. The council elder walked slowly toward them, her silver robes trailing behind her like a river of light. She carried an ornate staff, its crystal head gleaming in the morning light. "Today we come together," she began, her voice clear and calm, "to honor the bond we share and to celebrate the unity that has grown between our peoples. Do this not to forget the past, but to build a future of peace and trust." The soldier felt the weight of her words. He had not come to Alara to conquer or to rule, but to learn and protect. In this ceremony, he saw a chance for both sides to build something stronger than any warship or weapon, like the beauty of it was. In the simplicity to peoples, bound by respect and the desire for peace. As the elder spoke, the Beauty Council began to sing. Their voices were soft at first, like the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze, but soon their song grew louder, richer. It was a melody of unity, one that transcended the barriers of language. The soldier's heart swelled as the music filled the air. He could feel the connection between the Alara beauties and himself, the bond growing with every note. One by one, the council members stepped forward. Each carried a crystal flower, its petals shimmering with the light of the twin moons. They placed the flowers on the ground in front of the soldier and the envoy, creating a circle of light. The beauty of the flowers was breathtaking, their colors shifting as they caught the light. The lavender-haired envoy stepped forward, holding a small crystal vial in her hand. She looked at the soldier, her eyes filled with trust. "This is the essence of Alara," she said softly, "the last gift of our ancestors, given to us as a symbol of life and renewal." She poured the essence into the earth, the liquid glowing as it touched the ground. The soldier stepped forward, his hand hovering over the vial. He felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him, but also a deep sense of connection. He reached out and placed his hand over the vial, allowing the essence to flow into his skin. The warmth of it spread through him, a deep sense of peace and hope filling his heart. The crowd fell silent, and the council elder stepped forward once more. "Today we unite in a bond that will last for generations," she said, her voice strong and filled with certainty. "Let us stand together, not as strangers, but as allies, as friends, as family." The soldier stood tall, his heart swelling with pride. He looked at the lavender-haired envoy, her gaze steady and filled with hope. He knew that this moment was more than just a ceremony. It was the beginning of something greater, something that would last no matter the challenges ahead. Together, they turned to face the crowd. The Beauty Council stood in a circle around them, their voices rising in a final, powerful song. The soldier felt the power of their unity in every note, in every breath. He knew that this was just the beginning of a long journey, one that would require trust, understanding, and strength from both sides. As the music faded and the ceremony came to a close, the soldier and the envoy exchanged a silent glance. They had come through the trial together. Now they stood side by side, ready to face whatever the future held. The Beauty Council began to disperse, but the soldier and the envoy remained, standing together in the quiet of the plaza. The twin moons hung high in the sky, their light casting a soft glow on the earth below. The soldier turned to the envoy and smiled. "This is just the beginning, isn't it?" he asked softly. She smiled back, her eyes filled with warmth. "Yes," she said. "Together, we will build a future that will last." And in that moment, the soldier knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, the bond between their two peoples would be unbreakable. They had forged something stronger than any weapon, an unshakable friendship, born of trust, courage, and a shared hope for the future.